Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat Shalom.
which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined to us here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. One of the biggest issues that we're going to have as a people to get ready for a holy and righteous kingdom is understanding what order is, and that Yahweh is a stickler when it comes to certain things about order. Excuse me. When we even deal with the law that Yahweh gave to the children of Israel, it was a situation where we were about to inherit or gain access to this land, and in his land things have to be done a certain way by his people. It can't be done any old way, but because Israel was created to be servants, we were created to call and glorify his holy name. There's a certain order that we have to learn, and the heathen understands that and knows that. So there's a serious push to get us away from keeping any order. This is why when there were invasions going on in the land of Israel, the first thing they want to do is to coerce us to go away from keeping the Sabbath, to coerce us away from keeping the feast days. So now you have situations where our people are telling us not to keep the Sabbath, not to keep the feast days, not to deal with all of these things. And really what we are doing is just repeating the things that our forefathers had to endure. That same push is still going on now to turn upside down that order, because they believe if they can make the order wrong with us, then they can continually possess Yahweh's inheritance. But before we get started, brother, would you read the oracles and entreat the angel that stands at the door to come in and sup with us and us with him, that we may make this a holy convocation by the angel's presence.
1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as become saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth, therefore let your words be few.
Right. So then we automatically see then there's a certain order that we have to have when it comes down to dealing with holy things. Our issue is that we've sometimes we get in the Word, and the longer we're in the Word, some get comfortable with things and begin to walk away from that order. And some just walk in at the first day and have no intentions on keeping any order whatsoever. This is why there was that situation with the 5 wise virgins and the 5 foolish virgins. The Messiah purposely gave a situation whereby he would wait long enough so that he could show who was rebellious and who was not, who actually had enough spirit to light up a dark path and who didn't, who just looked a certain way. And this generation is all about presenting and saving face, offering this version of something that we want people to see. But Yahweh knows who the real person is. Yahweh knows who the real deeds are. So presenting faces in front of other people is not going to help you. None of those people have the opportunity to allow you to have your salvation. So pretending in front of people is wasted energy. There's absolutely nothing anybody else can do to help you get into that kingdom. But when we be true to ourselves and true to Yahweh about what it is, what problems we have, what issues we have, then we see that Yahweh will come and help us deal with those things. But not while we all the time are pretending like we don't have one. We're going to begin today in Leviticus. Did you finish that?
No.
Go ahead, bro.
Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice.
And we're going to speak a little bit more on that as well. Go ahead.
Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in to him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
Let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. So you have to understand that the message that is given to the church is directed by the Spirit according to the issues that need to be dealt with. Let's begin in Leviticus chapter 19, and we're going to read verses 30 through 37. Leviticus 19 and verses 30 through 37. And the sermon is entitled Order and Righteousness. You know, we'll go to other buildings, and especially when it comes down to the heathen, we'll go to the heathen establishment and follow every rule that the heathen give us. Then when it comes down to the things of the creator of all things, the Most High, we want to bend the rules. Matter of fact, coming out of that whole Christian setup, we don't think there should be any rules. Because the setup said, you know, come as you are, do all of these things. Yet, they still had one rule that they pushed very hard, and that was tithing. So that's the only rule we're accustomed to. We're not accustomed to any other rule other than that. And all that is setting us up for great destruction, because Yahweh said, I'm going to bring all the children of Israel out of the places where I have scattered them. But everybody's not going to enter into that land. Leviticus chapter 19, and let's start that at verse 30.
You shall keep my Shabbats and reverence my sanctuary. I am Yahweh.
So there's a certain amount of respect. You keeping the Sabbath shows that you have respect for Yahweh. See, these are these things where people say, you know, people walk up to you, do you love the Lord? Let me tell you something. When you love the Most High and you understand how important his Sabbath is to him, then that Sabbath then has to be important to you. Now, we understand that being raised up in the daughter of Babylon, that we're not able to keep these things all the time. A lot of people have to work. They don't have any say-so in that matter. Then there's others that just make decisions and choices that have absolutely nothing to do with what they have to do and the weight that's placed upon them. Go ahead.
Regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I am Yahweh your Elohim.
Right. You shall keep my Sabbaths, verse 30, and reverence my sanctuary. Keeping the Sabbath shows to Yahweh, then reverencing the sanctuary is showing that you have respect for his order. So there's certain things that we're just not going to do any old thing. You wouldn't find somebody to go to a wedding with a jogging suit on. Them folks would say, man, what kind of disrespectful mess is this? You show up to my wedding with some jogging pants on? Where you wearing going? You didn't even act like you were going somewhere? So it was disrespectful from the moment they set foot in there looking like that. Go ahead.
You shall rise up before the hoary head and honor the face of the old man and fear Yahweh your Elohim. I am Yahweh.
You shall rise up. That means you stand up before the hoary head. A hoary head is a gray-headed man. This means that there's a certain way that we're supposed to treat our elders. But as we have gone from generation to generation, we have gotten sick and degenerate when it comes down to showing respect. There used to be a time, especially back in the days, even when the gangsters would get into it. If them old ladies walked outside, the gangster dudes would stop fighting and wait for the lady to go back inside. And she knew they were fighting. That's why she opened the doors. What y'all doing? Nothing. This is a different generation here. Ain't no respect here. But see, there's some things that parents do that help this generation become this disrespectful too. Go ahead.
Verse 33, Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 33. And if a stranger sojourn with you in your land, you shall not vex him.
Right. So, like we know that they have these things that are, especially people who want to deal with the setup that the Jewish have, then most of their good things are all aimed at one another. But when it comes down to strangers, then they believe there's certain things that can be done. That's because they have a whole nother book. Because they teach out of the Talmud and the Mishnah and the Gemara. That's where they get that from. They don't get that from the Torah. They don't get that from Yahweh's word. You shall not vex a stranger, for you was a stranger. So you don't just get to see somebody walk in that you don't know, and all of a sudden you get to look down at your nose through them because you ain't never seen them before. Remember, the word says, be careful, for some of you have entertained angels unawares. So consider if you were just nasty to an angel of Yahweh because you didn't know him. How you gonna know him? You ain't never seen him before. Go ahead.
But the stranger that dwells with you shall be unto you as one born among you, and you shall love him as yourself, for you are strangers in the land of Egypt. I am Yahweh your Elohim. You shall do no unrighteousness in judgment, in meat yard, in weight, or in measure. Just balances, just weights, a just ephah, and a just hin shall you have. I am Yahweh your Elohim, which brought you out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall you observe all my statutes and all my judgments, and do them. I am Yah.
I am Yah. Let's go to our Proverbs chapter 16. Proverbs chapter 16, and we're going to start with verses 1 through 6.
Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 1. The preparations of the heart in man, and the answer of the tongue is from Yah. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but Yahweh weighs the spirits. Commit your works unto Yah, and your thoughts shall be established. Yah has made all things for himself, yes, even the wicked for the day of evil.
Even the wicked for the day of evil, because the wicked have they have a purpose. See, the tares help make the wheat stronger. See, we want to do certain things and we want to achieve certain things, but there's a certain strength that only comes from weight. You're not just going to go around and just walk in the weight room and walk out and you built. And say, well, I went in there. Yeah, I walked in there, I walked around that treadmill. Then I saw them weights, and I got up under it. I looked out, yeah, boy. And I walked out, boy, I was smooth. No, that ain't how that works. See, the weight have to be on top of you. And then you push the weight off. Now you're getting stronger. So, the wicked have a purpose. They have a purpose in your life. You think you're just going to get stronger just automatically? That ain't how that works. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to Yah.
Mm-hmm.
Though hand join in hand, he shall not be unpunished.
And understand something. Yahweh can make some people just wicked for a little while, just long enough for you to work out. As soon as you get to the stage you're supposed to be, then you notice all of a sudden they start changing. What happened to the wickedness they were doing before? Well, that was for your own spiritual workout. Obviously, you did the workout, right? Because he took the wickedness from them. Correct?
By mercy and truth, lawlessness is purged, and by the fear of Yah, men depart from evil.
Jump to verse 18.
Pride goes before destruction, and an haughty spirit before a fall.
Pride goes before destruction, meaning it leads you there. And a haughty spirit before a fall. It's the thing that pulls you right into that situation. Go ahead.
Better it is to be of an humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud. He that handles a matter wisely shall find good, and whoso trusts in Yahweh, happy is he. The wise in heart shall be called prudent, and the sweetness of the lips increase learning. Understanding is a wellspring of life unto him that has it, but the instruction of fools is folly.
And we know that we reside in the daughter of Babylon, and the way that they operate and the way that they do things are foolish, and there is no righteousness in it. The problem is we've learned all those ways and we've picked them up. And we have to be able to separate the ways of Babylon and even the laws of Babylon. Because see, I've heard people use, and they'll use that word and use it out of context, because there's places where it says, you know, obey the law of the land so that it goes well with you. Understand that. The law of this land is wicked. It's all get out. So people would then take that and take it out of context. The law of this land tells you you can do some things that Yahweh said you better not do that. So you can turn around and be nice or according to their law and say, well, hey, I obeyed the law of the land. Yeah, and that law of their land gonna get you killed. Go ahead.
The heart of the wise teaches his mouth, and adds learning to his lips. Pleasant words are as an honeycomb, sweet to the soul, and health to the bones. There is a way that seems right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. He that labors, labors for himself, for his mouth craves it of him. An ungodly man digs up evil, and in his lips there is as a burning fire. A froward man sows strife, and a whisperer separates chief friends.
Right, because that sowing discord, they go from person to person and tell people their version of the story. So I found that there's always more than one side to a story. But see, people want to be the first one to pull you to the side. Let me hey, can I talk to you for a second? Let me say, all right, now see what had happened was, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Go ahead.
Verse 29. A violent man entices his neighbor and leads him into the way that is not good. He shuts his eyes to devise froward things. Moving his lips, he brings evil to pass.
Moving his lips. He brings evil to pass. Sometimes we never even consider what it is that come out of our mouth. And once it come out, it's too late. You can't suck it back up. See, that's something that they do in court. It don't even work in court. Strike that from the record. But you can't tell those jurors, pretend like you didn't hear that. No, I heard that. No, I heard that. You say he brought the gun in now. That what you said? No, I heard it. Strike that from the record. No, you can strike it from that little piece of paper where they typing it up at, but you can't take it out of them people's ears and out of their hearts and out of their mind. It's there. And sometimes in court, that's what they do. Knowing that the stuff ain't gonna hold up, they'll say something and they say, take that. He said, that's all right. They heard it. I accomplished what I want to. They heard it. And then, even though they done told them strike it from the record, that stuff sitting there going in their head like, he did what? Interesting. Go ahead.
Verse 31. The hoary head is a crown of glory, if it be found in the way of righteousness.
If it be found in the righteousness, the hoary head is a crown of glory. This is not just a gray-headed man. This is a gray-headed woman as well. There's a certain way we're supposed to respect our elders. But see, this generation does not even operate in that way. You know, you see a gray-headed man and somebody stand up, people are like, what you stand up for? Is something you see? You see, I remember it was a time we'd be on the bus. A woman come in, we get up, step out our seat, and let the woman sit down. Boy, woman better not hold her breath today. She's standing up. Oh, and that ain't just brothers, that's other women now. Now we've got a total disrespect for other people, and how we learn that is our parents co-sign on it. This is how the kids become worse. Go ahead.
He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that rules his spirit than he that takes a city. The lot is cast into the lap, but the whole disposing thereof is of Yah.
The whole disposing thereof is of Yah. Meaning, man is going to do what man going to do. But the end of a thing is how Yahweh is truly dealing with something. Let's go to Luke chapter 14. See, man can try whatever man want to try. And man will try his best to exercise his power over you, not understanding that Yahweh has power over him. So they'll take some money from you here, and Yahweh will take some money from them there. Then you go down the road, and he give you some money back over there. So one group takes something from you, he make another group get something to you, and then make somebody else take double from them. They still think they got over on you. And Yahweh taking care of all his business. Luke chapter 14, and let's read verses 7 through 11.
And he put forth a parable to those which were bidden, when he marked how they chose out the chief rooms, saying unto them,
This my seat. This my seat. Can't nobody sit here. This my seat. I put my name in it. Matter of fact, I'm going to set my stuff in the seat and walk away. And I'm going to come back and make sure my stuff has marked my spot. Because I want this chief seat right here. Go ahead.
When you are bidden of any man to a wedding, sit not down in the highest room, lest a more honorable man than you be bidden of him.
Now, wait a minute. If we're supposed to honor the hoary head and honor those people, then you already have a situation where somebody might say, you know what? There's a more honorable than you here. What, you 30? And they 74? Move. And don't nobody owe you no damn explanation. Move.
And he that bade you, and him come and say to you, give this man place, and you begin with shame to take the lowest room.
There you go right there. The shame to take the lowest room. So that pride done went first, and now shame kick in. What do you mean? I gotta move? Go ahead.
But when you are bidden, go and sit down in the lowest room, that when he that bade you comes, he may say unto you, friend, go up higher. Then shall you have worship in the presence of them that sit at meat with you. For whosoever exalts himself shall be abased, and he that humbles himself shall be exalted.
Right. Yahweh gonna take care of that business one way or another. Let Yahweh exalt you. Because if you do it yourself, you're gonna have some problems. Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 5. 1 Timothy chapter 5, and let's read verses 1 through 5. As it is written, Scripture is good for chastisement, admonition, it's good for growth, it's good for all of those things. But we like to pick and choose what things we're going to deal with. But Yahweh has order in his house, and Yahweh has order in his kingdom. And if you have an issue with order, go ahead and go worship the adversary. You'll have a lot better time. At least you'll have fun on your way to the lake of fire. This way you're going to have problems all the way, and you still going to get thrown in the lake of fire because you got a problem with order. At least have some fun on your way to the lake. 1 Timothy chapter 5, and let's read verses 1 through 5.
Rebuke not an elder, but entreat him as a father, and the younger men as brethren. The elder women as mothers.
How you treat the elder women?
As mothers.
So there's that, the mothers of the church have a certain respect that they are due. They have labored in the word. They have labored in life. There's a certain amount of respect that's due those women. So you can't have some little young, hot, fast-tailed girl walking around here snapping her neck and rolling her head at one of these elders. That woman got socks holding you. Or shall I say a slip? The young girl don't even know what the hell that is. The hell is a slip? Would you slip it off? But man, read, man.
The younger as sisters with all purity. Honor widows that are widows indeed. But if any widow have children or nephews, let them learn first to show piety at home and to requite their parents. For that is good and acceptable before Elohim.
Right. And this is how the parents help teach rebellion, because they don't require that the children be respectful. So then they grow up being disrespectful. So then you got 30-year-olds walking around acting like they 5, believing that the world owes them something. Can't even respect other people's, natural boundary. There's a natural boundary that everybody have. You don't sit in a seat and then put your leg on somebody else. Lean on their seat. What the hell wrong? Hey man, hold on. Hold on, man. There's a personal space around here, man. You can't be touching me in my seat. And how we make it worse, we keep letting them do it. This is how our fault comes into play. Because you think you being nice, they lean all over in your chair, and then you get up and move. No, you won't. You say, excuse me, you need to learn how to sit up. Put your damn arm where it's supposed to be. No, you making the situation worse. Because you know what? They're going to do it to somebody else, and then somebody else, and then somebody else. There's order. There's a certain amount of respect that you're supposed to have for people. There are people that I've met last week that I have more respect for them than I do some people that I've known for years. Why? Because everybody start out with a certain amount of respect until they start doing certain things. I'm not just going to respect or disrespect somebody based on things that I don't know nothing about. the man, if I met him yesterday, he start automatically respect. Until it's something that he does that takes that away. I see him stealing now. I know I got to watch my stuff around him. Now some of that respect gone. Every time I leave, I walk away. You know what? Wait a minute. Where's my wallet? Because you steals. Yeah, let me. Hey, some of that respect gone. I done seen you steal now. See? You did that. Go ahead.
It says there's an automatic bond of peace between all men.
Automatic bond of peace between men. When you break that covenant of peace and nobody has done anything to you, you have sinned. Not that you have sinned because it is written in the law that this is a sin. It was automatically a bond of peace. And you broke it. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Now she that is a widow indeed and desolate trusts in Elohim and continues in supplications and prayers night and day.
All right, let's go to Exodus chapter 22. See, even in Sunday church, they used to have the mother's board, and those were the respectable women that sat down front, and you couldn't sit down there without a hat on. So they automatically let you know that the respectable women had their head covered. With your head covered, do you not notice that men come at you a different type of way? See, the disrespectful ones gonna already pause before. It's a whole lot of disrespectful brothers that haven't even approached you because they seen your head covering on. See, it's automatically there. We just didn't pay attention. The respectable women in the Christian church had their head covered. If the woman forgot her hat, she couldn't even sit down there. They had to go get her hat before she could even be down there in the front. Mother's boy had to have a hat on. Now, granted, the hat might have looked like it had a whole bowl of fruit on top of it, but it was a head covering, okay? And it was required. Go ahead.
Exodus chapter 22 and verse 21. You shall neither vex a stranger nor oppress him, for you are strangers in the land of Egypt.
Right. So once again, when you talk to these people that are listing how they can do things because these people are not really their brothers, I don't know where they get it from. They didn't get it out of the New Testament and they didn't get it out of the Old Testament. They got that out of their own wicked heart because that's what they want to do. They want to mistreat people and they find a reason or some kind of way that gives them the ability to do that. And when you can go outside of this book and read some other book and they tell you, oh, well, it's just as good as if God said it himself. Oh, yeah, that's blasphemy right there. Go ahead.
You shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. If you afflict them in any wise and they cry at all unto me, I will surely hear their cry. And my anger shall wax hot and I will kill you with the sword. And your wives shall be widows, and your children fatherless. So
he said, if you don't respect the widow, I'm going to make you one. You don't want to respect the aged, the honorable? That's all right. I'll take away all your stuff. See, Yahweh has declared a certain amount of honor, a certain amount of respect and order that we're supposed to walk in. And it's not something that we can get around. And because we've gotten into this whole thing of not disciplining the kids, it wasn't like that back in the days. I remember going to school and getting a whipping in school. I remember the teacher caught me cussing and wiped my mouth out with that Irish Spring. But Why? Why you been sitting there tasting soap for the next hour and a half? You think about the next cuss word you gonna say. You think about the next one, boy, when you wash your mouth out with soap. But see, it was a different thing in the teachers. All our teachers look like us. The same teacher that taught me taught my uncles, taught my brother, taught my aunts. Some of them, a few of them, even taught my mama. Same teachers. So when you come in there, ain't no running no game on them because they already know. Ain't you Jake boy? Yeah, man. You just as shifty as your daddy. Sit down, boy. Ain't no need. She already know your little game, you know, because she done already dealt with that same game with your daddy, with your uncles. She's like, oh, y'all ain't the same way. I sit down. You sit right. This your seat right here. Right. Did you finish that?
Yes. Ephesians.
Let's go to Ephesians chapter 6. It's crazy when they ask me, like, who was one of my favorite teachers? It was one of them that whooped me and gave me that soap in the mouth. Every time they ask me who my favorite teacher is, and you know, I hadn't really thought about it. She was a good teacher. I mean, really, I was just a bad student. But most people can't see that about themselves. See, we see nothing but good things when it comes to us. We don't see ourselves in any other light other than good. But when she whooped me, I deserved to whoop her. When she washed my mouth out with soap, I deserved to have my mouth washed out with soap. Because the time she caught me, I had already did it like 10 times before that. So I wasn't innocent by a long shot. Ephesians chapter 6, and let's read verses 1 through 6.
Children, obey your parents in the Adonai, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise.
Now, there's a limit to that. I can honor my father and my mother, but I'm not going to worship your God. If my mama worshiped the adversary, the devil, I'm not honoring her by worshiping the devil too. What I'm doing is then dishonoring Yahweh. See? There has to be an acceptable balance between honoring my mother and my father and still honoring my Father who art in heaven. So if there's a break in that line, then hey, this is where we have to agree to disagree and turn the other way, because I can't worship your God with you. That's not honoring you. That's not what honoring means. I'm gonna respect you. I can help you if you need help, but I can't worship your God. Go ahead.
That it may be well with you, and you may live long on the earth. And you fathers, provoke not your children to anger, but bring them up in the nurture and admonishing of the Adonai.
Right. And, you know, we look at that in several ways. Provoke not your children unto wrath. There's one thing in how you deal with the children that provokes them unto wrath. But then there's a whole other side of provoking your children unto wrath. When you decide that you're not going to discipline them at all. You don't understand how you are provoking them to wrath, because the first time they get to somewhere where there are rules, now you got a 35-year-old throwing a tantrum in the middle of the floor like he 4 or like she 4. Now, how she get that way? Because you didn't make them follow no instructions the rest of the 33 years. So now somebody else is telling them, hey, these are the rules. You sit on this side. You do this stuff over here. Now they think that somebody got to explain every rule to them. And see, that come from how the parents provoke their children unto wrath. That somebody says, or the parents say, take out the trash. Now the kid got a conversation about taking out. Well, why I got to take out the, man, shut up and take out the trash. Man, I ain't got time to explain to you the trash schedule. Just shut up and take out the trash. Now, you let that go on for 30 years. Now they somewhere else arguing with the people at the job. Well, why I got to do such and such and can't figure out. I don't know why they keep firing me. See, you don't provoke that child unto wrath because now that child done got accustomed to questioning everybody about everything. Then, how the mamas love to do it, they sing to their babies when they give instruction. See, they say it so nice. Baby, would you take out the trash? Ain't no damn body gonna do that when they get a job. Ain't nobody gonna sing no instructions to you. So now you have severely limited this person the first time they get some instructions, and it's their job. Hey, I need you to go and do such and such. Wait a minute, man, I don't like the way you talking to me. Why you talking to me like that? Wait a minute, ain't that your job? Yeah, man, but you can say it nice. You don't like my mama. For real, man. Go ahead, man.
Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 5. Servants, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh, with fear and trembling, and singleness of your heart, as unto the Mashiach.
So even when we do things, it should be as if we're doing it unto the Mashiach. Go ahead.
Not with eye service, as men pleasers, but as the servants of the Mashiach, doing the will of Elohim from the heart.
All right, let's go to Proverbs chapter 13. See, a lot of things, if you just say it, a lot of times people think that it's just coming from your own thought process. And you have to show that this is coming from the word of the Most High. Proverbs 13, and read verse 24.
He that spares his rod hates his son, but he that loves him chasten him betimes.
He that spares the rod hates the child. Why? See, it comes this situation, how you're setting up what's going to end up happening unto that child when life really comes at them. I've seen in workplaces where they had a sign. There's a kitchen, and everybody can go up there and heat up their own food. And that sign up there said, clean up behind yourself. Your mama does not work here. So by chastening that child, they then get the thought process and grow up thinking that they are beyond or above chastisement. They are above correction. This is how you hate that child, because you have not provided an opportunity for that child to learn how life is. Ain't nobody gonna bow down to them and give them everything they want. So what are you presenting? And you have these people that will not let their kids get disciplined. They will not discipline the kids themselves. Nobody else can say anything to their kid. And what are you setting that kid up for? The minute somebody end up dealing with that kid, because let me tell you something, they took discipline out of schools because they can't wait to discipline our kids on their own. So they're like, no, y'all can't discipline them because we already got a prison down the street waiting for your kid. So leave them alone. Let them do whatever they want to do. And by the time they get 15, they ain't going to listen to nobody, and we got a nice prison right down the street for them. And you ain't got to worry about them getting a job, because we're going to have a job for them in that prison. I mean, they're going to make a quarter an hour, but don't worry about that. And then we're going to charge them every time they need to go to the doctor and stuff like that, so we're going to get the quarter back. That's the way they play the game. So whereas you think you showing that child love by not dealing with them things, you are poisoning that child. You are not preparing that child for a life on his or her own. It's one of the things that me and Kish was talking about. Every one of the people that we've seen that had like special needs kids, and I mean, you know, they got real, you know, special needs issues. Your heart break when you think about those parents have to do everything for that child. And come the day that that parent passes away, this child, although that child might be 35, 40 years old, that child still has like the thought process of a 3 or 4 year old. It is one of the saddest, because we knew somebody that happened to, and all of us, it was our first thought process. It was somebody that we knew in the past, but we heard that the man had passed away. And we had never seen this man without this boy. I mean, he took care of this. This was his son, and he was special needs. It was the first thing that crossed our mind, like, this is all he knows is that man. So the day he had to wake up without that man, and he can't talk, he can't say anything, you know his heart is breaking. This was a situation where they don't really have much choice. Now, there is a situation where you have to start trying to wean that child off of you, knowing that, hey, someday you're going to pass away. So you got to start letting that child see somebody else, but it's still a heartbreaking situation. We do that and ain't nothing wrong. These people, they were forced in that situation. We do it, it ain't nothing. We just want to protect the child, or we know that our children have certain issues, and then we just try to protect those issues instead of trying to work on those issues, because, you know, that was a part of that whole Christian setup. You know, just come to church and shout it out instead of trying to figure out what the issue is and seeing what we can do to work on it. Let's go to Titus chapter 3.
1284.
All right. You know, it's funny, man, when we was talking about that, you know, it's how common it is among Jamaicans, if it's something, you know, going on with their kid, that they hide the kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
big island thing.
Yeah, you know, that is common for them to hide the kid, and you not even to know that they have you know, a kid that has, you know, any issues, and you know, you might have known this person for 10 years. One day somebody come out the back room, who is that? What? And sometimes that same mentality is there, so we just hide it now in a different way. See? That we try to mask all the issues. Titus chapter 3. And we're going to read verses 1 through 11.
Put them in mind to be subject to principalities and powers, to obey magistrates, to be ready to every good work, to speak evil of no man, to be no brawlers, but gentle, showing all meekness unto all men.
And we will get to fighting somebody step on our shoe and feel justified. Go ahead.
For we ourselves also were sometimes foolish, disobedient, deceived, serving divers lusts and pleasures, living in malice and envy, hateful and hating one another. But after that, the kindness and love of Elohim our Savior toward man appeared, not by works of righteousness which we have done, but according to his mercy he saved us, by the washing of regeneration and renewing of the Holy Spirit, which he shed on us abundantly through Yahshua the Mashiach, our Savior, that being justified by his grace, we should be made heirs according to the hope of eternal life. This is a faithful saying, and these things I will that you affirm constantly, that they which have believed in Elohim might be careful to maintain good works. These things are good and profitable unto men. But avoid foolish questions and genealogies and contentions and strivings about the law, for they are unprofitable and vain.
Right, because you realize at a certain point that some people are not dealing with questions to even learn. They just want to strive. They enjoy striving. That's why it says there's a certain limit to how much you should even be going back and forth. Go ahead.
A man that is an heretic after the first and second admonition, reject, knowing that he that is such is subverted and sins, being condemned of himself.
Condemned of himself. So it's already a thought process that none of that going back and forth is even going to solve, because they've already had in their mindset how they're going to operate. Let's go to 2 Peter chapter 2.
Thirteen, 19. 1319.
2 Peter chapter 2, and let's read verses 9 through 14.
The Adonai knows how to deliver the godly out of temptations and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished.
Right. The Adonai knows how to deliver the godly out of temptation. But what that may mean is you may lose whatever that is, because he's removing you out of that situation. And it may seem like loss unto you for a second. But then the unjust is reserved. They're preserved. They stay in the same place so that he can let judgment happen unto them. So things are not always as they seem as they are progressing. Remember, the whole lot is cast into the lap, but the disposing thereof is of Yahweh. Yahweh is in the end of a thing. Go ahead.
But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despise government.
Despise government, which means they have a problem with order. They have a real issue with order. Go ahead.
Presumptuous are they, self-willed. They are not afraid to speak evil of dignities.
Right. And it's one of those things where as soon as things don't go our way, then we have all of these things that are so easily able to run out of our mouths and speak evil of dignities. Especially when it's a situation where we've become comfortable with one another. My elder used to always say, familiarity breeds contempt. And sometimes the more familiar people are, the easier it is for them to have contempt with you. That's why you'll find in certain situations, in work situations, they purposely separate you from certain managers or people of power, because they don't ever want you to get comfortable with them. Because, you know, they went to their 2.6 hours of psychology, and they got to play them little mind games with you. Go ahead.
Verse 11. Whereas angels, which are greater in power and might, bring not railing accusation against them before the Adonai. But these, as natural brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil of things that they understand not, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption.
Right. Speak evil of the things that they understand not. If we even ask questions sometimes the right way, then we could get an explanation of things and learn and grow, but we are ready to speak evil about things and don't even have a true understanding of what it is. And you can tell that we speak evil by even how we ask the question. Go ahead.
And shall receive the reward of unrighteousness, as they that count it pleasure to riot in the daytime. Spots they are and blemishes, sporting themselves with their own deceivings while they feast with you.
Sporting themselves with their own deceivings while they feast with you. Folks will tell you, you know, I got a problem with you. But after I eat your food, matter of fact, and give me a plate to take home. Can I get another cup of that on my way out? But I got an issue with you. I got an issue with you. You couldn't give me a cup of water if I was on fire. How you have a problem with somebody, but you eating their food, taking your plate home, getting you 2 nice cups of libation? Right. There's something wrong with that problem. John chapter 6. John chapter 6, and let's read verses 22 through 30.
The day following, when the people which stood on the other side of the sea saw that there was none other boat there, save that one whereunto his disciples were entered, and that Yahshua went not with his disciples into the boat, but that his disciples were gone away alone, howbeit there came other boats from Tiberias, near unto the place where they did eat bread, after that the Adonai had given thanks. When the people therefore saw that Yahshua was not there, neither his disciples, they also took shipping, and came to Capernaum, seeking for Yahshua.
Now, these people got on a boat to go and find him, but he said they went for some other reason. Go ahead.
And when they had found him on the other side of the sea, they said unto him, Rabbi, when cameth you hither?
How you get here? We ain't see you get on no boat. How you get here? Go ahead.
Yahshua answered them and said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, you seek me, not because you saw the miracles, but because you did eat of the loaves and were filled.
So you came so you can eat. See that Jake right there? They like, hey man, he went over there. Well, let's get on the boat and go. Why? Because I know there's going to be some food over there. We'll go to anybody's barbecue. Pretend to be part of the family. Is family on? Yeah, I'm Cousin P. Yeah. Yeah. Is that chicken over there? Is that barbecue sauce? Right. Right. Y'all sure had the same problem. So you didn't come from the bread of life. You came for this hot butter bread over here. That's what you came for. You came for the wrong bread. See? Go ahead.
Labor not for the meat which perishes, but for that meat which endures unto everlasting life, which the Son of Man shall give unto you. For him has Elohim the Father sealed. Then said they unto him, What shall we do, that we might work the works of Elohim? Yahshua answered and said unto them, This is the work of Elohim, that you believe on him whom he has sent. They said therefore unto him, What sign showeth you then, that we may see and believe you?
Right. Show me a sign then. See, you didn't even come for the miracles. Why wasn't that a sign for you? Go ahead.
What does you work? That's it.
Keep reading.
Our fathers did eat manna in the desert, as it is written, He gave them bread from heaven to eat. And Yahshua said unto them,
Right. Did you check it? Show us a miracle. I didn't heal people. No. Moshe gave them bread from heaven. You ain't got no more food. Y'all ain't catch it. Y'all ain't catch it. Show me a miracle. We hungry. It already said you didn't come for the bread of life. You came to eat. So they said, show me a miracle, specifically a food miracle. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't got none of the olive bread, the Olive Garden bread, put the butter right on top of the roll. Oh my goodness, oh God. You got none of that? Right, right. Get on the ship, go all the way across, act like they coming for the word, but they coming to eat. And then gonna tell you what kind of food they want. Ooh, they got something good today. Read, man.
Then Yahshua said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, Moshe gave you not that bread from heaven, but my Father gives you the true bread from heaven.
Right. See, while y'all trying to labor, trying to get something to eat, you about to lose your salvation over a plate of food. Let's go to Exodus chapter 23. Ain't that just like Jake? What good is this birthright to me? Let me sell it for some pottage. Exodus chapter 23, and let's read verses 20 through 23.
Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him.
Now, this is one of those things where, because people don't see the angel, people are often don't deal with the order. So there's places where it's dealing with, you know, Moshe and Yahweh, but they miss the part where the angels do the work of Yahweh. You know, we can easily understand working at a business, and we've never seen the owner of the business. Somehow, Yahweh, the creator of all things, we believe that we're going to be dealing with him directly, that we're dealing with directly with Yahweh in everything that we do. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way and to bring you, that is to lead you into the place which I have prepared. So who's in charge? The angel. You're not dealing directly with Yahweh. Verse 21, beware of him, obey his voice. As that angel direct you, you better listen. Provoke him not. Don't do anything that's going to tick him off. What's going to tick him off? Going outside the order or going outside of his instructions. If he said we going to the left and you said, no, we going to the right, you done provoke the angel. And Moshe can't sit there and say, well, Yahweh told me. No, the angel already got authority. Yahweh already gave him the authority when he gave him the job. So he ain't got to come back and ask Yahweh nothing. If Moshe get out of line, that angel already has the authority to kill him right where he stands. And Yahweh is letting him know, don't tick him off. Follow your instructions. Do not provoke him. And these are the things that we have to learn how to do. Because, yeah, are we Yahweh's chosen people? Yeah, yada, yada, yada. When it gets time to go and do things, do understand that it's the angel of Yahweh that's going to lead that. And if you don't know how to walk in order, or you cause that angel to even slightly miss his timetable, he's not going to miss his timetable because of you. What he going to do is get rid of you. That's what he going to do. Because he's not going to go back to Yahweh with a failing report. Well, I wasn't able to get here on time. No, Suck had to pee. And then that's why we had to stop off. See, and he didn't want to pee in that spot. It didn't look comfortable. So he liked to pee in air-conditioned places, and it had to be completely covered. So we went down that hill, and that's why we late. That's why, because it ain't gonna work. Angel ain't gonna take no failing report because I done got to something I ain't like. He got a job to do. He has been charged with a job, and he is going to accomplish that job. And anybody that get in the way of that gonna get ran over. Stop thinking you dealing directly with the Most High. See, that's that thing that we learned from Sunday morning. Talked to God last night. God told me, right. See, that's that little twisted mindset that makes us believe that we're dealing directly with the Most High. There's levels in this thing. There's levels of angels. It told you Gabriel was different from Michael. They didn't have the same authority. Make you think you're going to deal directly with the Most High. Go ahead.
Exodus chapter 23 and verse 22. But if you shall indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak.
Right, wait. Verse 21. Beware of him, obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgression, for my name is in him. So in other words, when he speak, he going to say, thus says Yahweh. So this is why some people, imagination started letting them think that they dealing directly with Yahweh. The angel is speaking in the name of Yahweh. He has the authority to do that. He said, my name is in him. Why do you think we name ourselves after Yah? He don't have to ask for the authority. The authority was already given to him when he got the job. Then verse 22, but if you shall indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak. Wait a minute. So I speak through him. Stop thinking you're going to deal directly with me. You ain't got it like that. Go ahead.
Then I'll be an enemy unto your enemies and an adversary unto your adversaries. For mine angel shall go before you and bring you unto the Amorites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Canaanites, the Hivites and the Jebusites, and I will cut them off.
Right. Mine angel shall go before you. And because people don't understand the righteous order, they don't understand that the angel has to be respected in the job that he has. I don't know why that's so confusing. The adversary of the devil is an angel. Does he not have power? What did he say? All this stuff is given unto me, and I give it to whom I will. Let's go to Revelation chapter 22. But it's easy for us to understand order when it comes down to some heathen principles. We go to one of them den of iniquities that we call club. And we understand right away. There's an order and that. No, that's the VIP, brother. You can't go it down unless you get a bottle of that Moet Chandon. That costs $100. See, and you can't go back there. And we don't just bogart and walk back there. Nah, I want to sit back there. Go ahead and let that bouncer bounce your head right off that wall. Pop, 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 and right out that door. You're gonna find out why they call him a bouncer when you bouncing right out. Pop, pop, pop. Right. Now we can understand rules in the den of iniquity, but we can't understand rules nowhere else. Right. How many people you done seen just rush back in the VIP without that bottle? You go ahead. You gonna figure it out. Right. See? But we respect the heathen in their order. Revelation chapter 22, and let's read verse 16.
I, Yahshua, have sent mine angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright and morning star.
Right. I, Yahshua, have sent mine angel. So here it is. I sent my angel, my servant, to testify unto you these things in the churches. See, once again, people want to make it to where they're directly dealing with the Most High. So they don't want to deal with the order. When you deal with that, what does he say? Even in dealing with this, there was angels over each of the 7 churches. He says, and to the angel over the church of such and such, write this. So then there's order. You're not dealing directly. Each congregation has a job, a order, a number that they are supposed to reach. And there's an angel, a spirit that directs what it is they're supposed to do. And you can tell when people show up and their spirit ain't the same as that. Because they want to do all the different stuff that Yahweh has put you in line to do. They show up day one, they want to do something else. Some come up, they say, well, we want to keep the Sabbath, but we don't want nothing cooked at all on the Sabbath day. Now, if you're gonna have cooked stuff in here, we're gonna have to leave. Well, that door swings both ways. See, what happened is you pull it out when you walk in, but you push it out on your way out. See, you get in this book, the priest was baking hot bread on the Sabbath. But see, people get in there with their half understanding and say, you should not kindle a fire on the Sabbath day. So people think I should be drinking cold coffee on the Sabbath day. Is that smoke coming from that coffee? That brother got smoke coming from that coffee. That brother has violated the law. See? Because they don't understand what's going on. First of all, them were priests that were baking that bread on the Sabbath. And where they baking it at? See? In the holy place. But see, what are they dealing with? Work. You ain't supposed to be working. How do you create energy? Fire. What do you think? If you take that all the way down to, you know, a car's a combustion engine, y'all just set a fire to dry here. It was a spark that cranked that car up to start with. It is a combustion engine. So was y'all supposed to walk here? Man, you know how far some of y'all live from here? So automatically you find that their spirit don't match the spirit that is sent to direct us. See? And you have to judge the spirit by the spirit. Listen to the spirit of what this word says and what Yahweh directs us, and then watch and see what people do. Say, oh yeah, their spirit don't match. Hey, now, I'm not saying they're not going to get their salvation. They may supposed to be at another congregation. See? Maybe Yahweh got a congregation of Holland people, and they need to go out, and they just geared to a Holland, and they like the battle script, you know, and they want to go out and just battle script, you know. Ezekiel 14, my brother, you know, and if that's what you want to do, and if that's what you geared for, then maybe there's a place for you somewhere else. See? When people show up and say, well, you know, I don't eat meat and I don't want to be around people that eat meat. Yeah, bye-bye. Because I eat meat. The priests did sacrifices and they had to eat them. And there's something that we're going to read that is going to illustrate that. Not just the point of the priest eating the sacrifice. We can do that anytime. I'm going to show you the holiness of how that's set up. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 6. See, we don't see how things relate unto the creator of all things. That's why we think, you know, that we're doing something. When we don't see how it relates unto Yahweh. Second Kings chapter 6, and let's read verses 8 through 17. In the beginning, in the garden, of course, man was vegetarian. Is it healthy to be a vegetarian? For a lot of people. Then there are other blood types that being a vegetarian don't help you at all. And see, people don't know that. So then you have people that are vegetarian, and they have a certain blood type, and they getting sick the whole time. And they can't figure out why. Original man, yes, vegetarian. Once man sinned, something else altogether different. Ain't no such thing as a vegetarian priest. Ain't no such thing. There's something seriously wrong with that. And do understand, the sacrifices are going to return. That's something that people have to understand. 2 Kings chapter 6, and let's start that at verse 8.
Then the king of Syria warred against Israel and took counsel with his servants, saying, in such and such a place shall be my camp. And the man of Elohim sent unto the king of Israel, saying, beware that you pass not such a place, for thither the Syrians are come down. And the king of Israel sent to the place which the man of Elohim told him and warned him of, and saved himself there, not once nor twice. Therefore the heart of the king of Syria was sore troubled for this thing. And he called his servants, and said unto them, will you not show me which of us is for the king of Israel? And one of his servants said, none, my master, O king. But Elisha the prophet, that is in Israel, tells the king of Israel the words that you speaketh in your bedchamber.
Right. So Yahweh provide for him a way for these things to happen. Go ahead.
And he said, go and spy where he is, that I may send and fetch him. And it was told him, saying, behold, he is in Dothan. Therefore sent he thither horses and chariots and a great host. And they came by night, and compassed the city about. And when the servant of the man of Elohim was risen early, and gone forth, behold, an host compassed the city both with horses and chariots. And his servant said unto him, alas, my master, how shall we do? And he answered, fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them.
Right. But see, it takes faith to be able to understand how Yahweh works, and it takes that faith to understand and to go to the point where Yahweh does give you that sight to be able to see that. But here it is, the servant only sees the things of the flesh, so he's counting and said, man, we outnumbered, man, we gonna die. Go ahead.
And Elisha prayed and said, Yah, I pray you, open his eyes that he may see. And Yahweh opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha.
Right. So it looked like they was outnumbered until you understand that they have these angels sitting there ready to fight the fight. But understand, for angels to be standing there ready to fight your fight, you have to walk in a certain way. See, once you step out of order, you have no more protection from the angel. And then being that we don't see the angel, we try to take care of things ourselves, defile that situation. Now the angel can't move with you. When the stolen thing was, when Achan stole the Babylonian garment and hid it, what did he say? Either remove that thing, that Babylonian garment, and that stolen thing that he's placed even among your own stuff. Either remove it, or I will no longer be with you. Now he just gave Israel all these promises, saying you're gonna inherit the land, you're gonna go in here, you're gonna remove these people, and in the middle of all that, 30-something people died. Hey! You just told us that we were gonna do all these great things. Now we look up and 30-something people dead. And Yahweh don't even send word to him right away. Joshua was sitting down there crying and praying and stayed down there all day. Then he like, man, what you on the ground for? Like, didn't you see them 30 dead people over there? Why don't you know why it's 30 dead people over there? Israel have stolen. Go and remove it, or I'm not going to be with you anymore. All that promise, all that inheritance, yada, yada, all that was there. As soon as they stole some stuff and hid it, the angel left. See, people don't understand what entreating the angel means. When the angel steps away from you, you have no protection. This is how Yahweh deals with you. I tell people, you can oftentimes tell the day that the angel showed up at your house. Listen to what come out in holy convocation. You know you ain't told nobody. How the hell I know that? Then folk looking over at their husband, what? You talk to son? Did you talk to son? Right, right. Did you finish that?
Yes.
Let's go to Exodus chapter 14. And the whole time, I don't know nothing what they be talking about. Yahweh ain't told me nothing. I don't know what y'all talking about. He'll give me something to read and something to say. Then they like, well, when you say such and such, I don't know what you talking about. Look, I'm a servant. He asked me what I think, feel, or believe. Exodus chapter 14, and let's read verses 17 through 20.
And I, behold, I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, and they shall follow them.
So I'm going to harden their hearts so that they follow Israel. So Yahweh will cause people to come after you, to do you harm. Go ahead.
And I'll get me honor upon Pharaoh.
Right. Say, I'm going to get me some honor through the evil that these people trying to do to you. So some of that evil you trying to get removed from you, Yahweh like, no. That's how I'm going to get me some glory. Leave it alone. No. Let them do that to you. Now, shut up. Now I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this a little while. I've been a God for a long time. Shut up. I know what I'm doing. Go ahead.
And upon all his hosts, upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen. And the Egyptians shall know that I am Yahweh, when I have gotten me honor upon Pharaoh, upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen.
Right. See, this I'm doing to prove to them that I am with you. But I need to let them do something to you first. I need to let them do something to you so I can prove to them that I am with you. See, there's one thing that they found out. When Jacob was among Laban, everything he had prospered. That's why he didn't want to let him go. See, sometimes people get blessed because you are either in their building, in their whatever. And they think, hey, I'm good. Then they do something to you and Yahweh show them, you know why I bless you? Because he was there. You know why I blessed you? Because she was there. Now that you have done wrong to them, give me my stuff back. That's how Yahweh show people. I blessed them. You even got your blessing because of them. Don't get it twisted. Here it is, you as a servant are blessing people who got more money than you. Go ahead, bro.
And the angel of Elohim, which went before the camp of Israel, removed and went behind them. And the pillar of the cloud went from before their face and stood behind them.
So now the angel of Elohim, not Yahweh. Yahweh ain't down there doing it himself. Yahweh like, let me go down there and protect. Nah, I ain't got servants for that. Now, the angel of Yahweh, which went before the camp of Israel, turned around and went behind and stood in between us and Egypt. Saying, who wanted with Yahweh? Go ahead.
And it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel. And it was a cloud and darkness to them. But it gave light by night to these, so that the one came not near the other all the night.
Right. So he went from leading Israel and said, oh, the danger behind? Stay where y'all at. Let me go to the back. Darkness on one side, nothing but light on the side where Israel at. And we don't understand about entreating the angel so that the angel is with us. The angel even moved according to where the danger is coming at us. The danger was this way going into the land, but he said, no. So I'm going to get me some glory. I'm going to go ahead and let them run up on you. So let that angel turn. So wherever your danger is, that's where that angel is. Let's go to Numbers chapter 22. And because people have turned money into blessing, it's hard for people to even consider that Yahweh is blessing you when they got more money than you. Oh, they think they money caused them up. Oh, they think they got it. Oh, they think that money is the thing. Yahweh, my God is blessing me more than your God is blessing you. I can tell because I looked at my bank account. See? All right. Yahweh gonna show them what that bank account means. See, that's that one thing. And I heard a guy talk about when it was one of them hurricanes in Florida, and he said, white guy, rich, you never know he was rich, had a Bentley, all of these things. He said, you know what? And the white man was the one that said it and was straight up about it. He said, you know, that hurricane didn't give a damn about who was rich and who was poor. He said, I'm standing in the same water line that you're standing in. See, people don't know that there's an event coming that's going to level the playing field. And when that hurricane, that water, and that destruction comes, I want you to hold up your bank account and see if it, hold up your checkbook. When that water come in, and just put up your check, see if it says, oh, damn, they got money, and see if it moves. Just go ahead and try, go ahead and try. Go ahead and try. There's going to be a lot of wet checkbooks around here, boy. Yeah, we're going to see. Numbers chapter 22, and let's start that at verse 20.
And Elohim came unto Balaam at night, and said unto him, if the man come to call you, rise up and go with them. But yet the word which I shall say unto you, that shall you do. And Balaam rose up in the morning and saddled his ass and went with the princes of Moab.
Now, the instructions, if Elohim came unto Balaam and said unto them, if the men come to call you, rise up, go with them. He just rose up and went. Go ahead.
And Elohim's anger was kindled because he went.
Right, because he didn't follow instructions. We are known for following 50% of instructions and then swear down that we follow the instruction. No, I'm following instruction. No. If you follow 50% of the instructions, that means you didn't follow instruction. Go ahead.
And the angel of Yahweh stood in the way for an adversary against him.
The angel of Yahweh, once again, it is the angel that is doing, you know, this work. Go ahead.
Now he was riding upon his ass, and his two servants were with him. And the ass saw the angel of Yahweh standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand.
Okay, now, the angel is standing in the way, and he got his sword out. Let me tell you something. This is one of the things we learned way back in the day. They said, look, don't pull your weapon unless you plan on using it. You don't want to be them people that just like to pull out their weapon. Let me tell you something. That angel pull out his weapon, he getting ready to use it. Now, Jake, you know, we'll just pull out a gun just to show you. What you say, boy? Ain't got no bullet, don't know how to shoot it. That's why so many innocent people get shot. When people, cause then when we do shoot, we gotta shoot like we saw it on TV. You know, and men to the side, they turn the gun sideways. You know what I'm saying? So we trying to look cool on our way to jail. Done shot all the wrong people. Yeah, bro. Then we throw the pistol like we pop, pop. Man, it don't come out on its own. You don't have to throw it out. You know what I'm saying? You don't. All you gotta do is pull a trigger. See? Now, when you see that angel with his weapon out, he finna do some business. He not playing. He don't need to threaten nobody. Go ahead.
And the ass turned aside out of the way and went into the field. And Balaam smote the ass to turn her into the way. But the angel of Yah stood in a path of the vineyards, a wall being on this side and a wall on that side.
So the dumb animal see the angel and avoid it. The man get mad that the dumb ass is not doing what he wanted to do. But the dumb ass know that's an angel with his weapon out. I should probably not go that way. I should probably respect that angel. Not us. We're going to go right on with our disrespectfulness because we don't see the angel. Go ahead.
And when the ass saw the angel of Yah, she thrust herself onto the wall, and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall, and he smote her again. And the angel of Yah went forth, and stood in a narrow place.
So this angel is cutting off his path. See, each time the angel is cutting off the path, and these things happen to us. We try something, something else happens. We try something, something else happens. The angel trying not to kill you. And you're getting help from a dumb animal. Go ahead.
Where was no way to turn either to the right hand or to the left.
No way to turn to the right hand or the left. All right, well, now it's about to go down. Go ahead.
And when the ass saw the angel of Yah, she fell down under Balaam.
See? The dumb animal know, look here, I'm going to respect that angel. I'm going to entreat this angel the right way. The angel go there, I'm going to go out the way. Angel go over there, I'm going to go out the way again. Angel going to stand in a narrow place. Well, damn it, I just ain't moving. That's it right here. That's it. We're going to sit down. That's what we're going to do. Because we're not going to go near him with that sword in his hand. We're going to sit down right here. Now, meanwhile, the dumb animal is saving his life. Do you understand that the dumb animal keep getting hit? The animal keep getting hit while this is happening. Go ahead.
And Balaam's anger was kindled, and he smote the ass with a staff.
Now, he hit it with a stick. Go ahead.
And Yahweh opened the mouth of the ass. And she said unto Balaam, What have I done unto you, that you have smitten me these 3 times? And Balaam said unto the ass.
Now, this is when you know you in full anger, that you start talking to an ass. He's so angry, he ain't understand that the donkey talking to him. What you hit me 3 times for? Go ahead.
Because you have mocked me, and I would there were a sword in my hand, for now I would kill you.
Now, pay attention to his words. Okay, his anger was because you have mocked me. Mocked him by not following his instruction. That's interesting. Because that's how you got into this mess, not following your instruction. Very interesting. This is what he's beating the dumb animal for. Because he says, you has mocked me. Because I was trying to go this way, you went that way. I was trying to go this way over here, you went that way. Now I'm trying to get you to go forward, and then you fall down. If I had a sword in my hand, I'd kill you. Because you ain't following my instructions. So Yahweh went to prove a point. Yeah, you mean how you didn't follow my instructions? You mean like that? Go ahead.
But you don't see him with the sword in his hand about to kill you.
Right. The irony in this little thing is amazing. See, there are lessons inside of lessons. And if you just read right past it, you'll go right past. That's why sometimes we have to go over certain things more than once. Because there's several different aspects to the same story. So one time I might have to give you this aspect, another one I had to go over here. See, this is a lesson inside of a lesson. You don't even get that he's talking about, you have mocked me. He doesn't even understand that that's the same thing he did to Yahweh. But he's ready to execute judgment and kill the animal. Go ahead.
And the ass said unto Balaam, Am not I your ass, upon which you have ridden ever since I was yours unto this day? Was I ever wont to do so unto you? And he said, No. Then Yah opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of Yah standing in the way.
See, now when he see the angel standing in the way, now we want to show some respect, right before we get killed. See, this is when we want to show some respect. But see, it might be too late by that time. If you don't understand how to operate in righteousness, and you do the wrong thing in the wrong place at the wrong time, by the time you see the angel with his sword in his hand, that might mean you about to die. Go ahead.
And his sword drawn in his hand, and he bowed down his head and fell flat on his face.
Now he want to fall on his face. The dumb donkey been seeing the angel. He's supposed to be an old dumb animal. But he had sense enough to know I ain't messing with that right there. I might be a dumb animal, but I know I ain't messing with that right there. When that storm came to what that Sri Lanka, whatever that was, whatever the hell that place is, what that place is? You don't forgot, whatever it is. Look, where it was? No, not that. The one where all the damn animals went up to the top of the hill.
The tsunami.
The tsunami, the big tsunami that came. Whatever it was, look, I ain't no world traveler, y'all leave me alone. Look at it. When that place came, when the tsunami came, all the damn animals was gone. All the animals went up to high ground. Now, who told the dumb animals it was a storm coming? Do they have a weather channel for donkeys? How the hell they know? Who told them that it was a storm? All of them got out of danger. We down there in the beach. Then we looking all good, but we done got a nice little suit on. Got our little nice little bathing suit, little short, sipping some. All the animals like, look at these fools. Going past us. Going up the hill. Who told them? They all gone. So then you have, and of course you know how that happened. All the water pull up. We ain't got good sense. All the water pull back. So we don't realize, damn, this water was at my waist. It's at my ankles. That's what it do right before it suck up and then spit it back out. Meanwhile, we just a party. So we realize, okay, well, it's at our ankles. Well, maybe we should go out further then. So we going out even further. The animals just passing by us. Look at these fools going on. But see, that pride that go before, destruction. There's certain things that you should see that should capture your attention. See, there's one thing that you end up learning. Animals, first of all, they obey their makeup. Meaning, you see dogs running together. You don't see a dog and a fox hanging out. You don't find a dog and a tiger hanging out. When you see animals all together walking up the hill, you need to be saying, what the hell is this? Cows and chickens don't hang out. Hey, man, you want to cluck with me for a while? Yeah, man, I'll cluck with you. No, why are they walking together? But see, the more things we have to take our attention, the less attention we pay to Yahweh's creation. That is something that you might want to pay attention to. You look up, and animals that don't hang out together is walking up the hill together. Look at, baby, I know we ought to swim, but I think we need to walk up this damn hill right here because I want to figure out why are the goats hanging out with the cows who hanging out with the chickens, and they all going up this hill. I think we need to at least go up this hill and figure out what's on top of this hill. We can swim later, but we need to figure out what this is. Huh? Go ahead.
Verse 32. And the angel of Yah said unto him, wherefore have you smitten your ass these 3 times? Behold, I went out to withstand you, because your way is perverse before me.
Your way is perverse before me. Understand? It's what did Yahweh say? There's an angel over these churches. The angel says, your way is perverse before me, so I went to withstand you. Go ahead.
And the ass saw me, and turned from me these 3 times. Unless she had turned from me, surely now also I had slain you and saved her alive.
Right. I was just going to kill you. I was going to leave the animal alone. So the animal who you beat saved your life. So when we understand that there's order and that there's an angel present, you have to consider, while you're stepping out of somebody's way, letting them do such and such, you are not saving them from the destruction of their angel. See, you got to stand in somebody's way sometimes to keep the angel from killing them. See, what you think you're doing is nice. What you're doing is allowing them to get killed, because they're going to continue to do something, and that angel going to do something to them. Then you might have to answer for something. What did you do to keep that angel from getting to them? So they did such and such, you let them do it. They did this right over here, you let them do it. They did that over there, you let them do it, because you thought you were being nice. Go ahead, bro.
You know, even when you think about the dumbass issued out punishment to help save him by crushing his leg against the wall.
Mm-hmm. Hey, to save, because see, the dumb animal is also worried about himself. He said, look, I don't know if that angel gonna kill, you know, both of us or one of us. But I know I'm gonna give him the honor that he deserved as a servant of Yahweh. And I ain't just gonna walk up on him in that old kind of way. We do the same thing. We see police officers, we don't just run up on them. Look at that. So we know how to respect somebody. Because you know for a fact, police most of the time the scariest people with a gun you ever ran into. You run up on them, that shoot you 3-4 times in the back. Talking about self-defense. I was scared for my life. You was scared for your life as he was running that way? Yeah, his back looked scary. You see his back? Them big old shoulders. The way they was running away from me, it scared me. Right. You ain't got no business being no police. Go ahead.
And Balaam said unto the angel of Yah, I have sinned, for I knew not that you stood in the way against me. Now therefore, if it displease you, I will get me back again.
Now we want to follow the instructions when we were about to die. See, everybody tough until they dying day. Everybody say how they don't care about this, they don't care about that. Until that last minute, everything changes. Some of the roughest and toughest gangsters, they gangster. Until that last minute, wait a minute. See, it never does occur to us the way you feel right now. That ain't the way you're going to feel always. So you might feel real big and bad and bold at this very moment. But when that last breath is about to leave you, let's see if you're still big and bad and bold and still don't care about nothing. Go ahead.
And the angel of Yah said unto Balaam, Go with the men, but only the word that I shall speak unto you, that you shall speak. So Balaam went with the princes of Balak.
All right, let's go to Judges chapter 6. Judges chapter 6, and we're going to read verses 11 through 24.
And there came an angel of Yah, and sat under an oak which was in Ophrah, that pertained unto Joash the Abiezrite. And his son Gideon threshed wheat by the winepress to hide it from the Midianites.
To hide it from the Midianites. Now, when you go through this book of Judges, you find that it is a constant back and forth of captivities of the children of Israel. Yahweh said, I have created you to be my servant. So either you're going to serve me or you're going to serve your enemies in your enemy's land. So first, they will come and possess our land, and eventually Yahweh take us out of our land, so we'll serve somebody else. You have to understand, being Israel, you were made to be a servant. This is why the people went way across the water. They said, look, I know somebody who know how to be slave. Because that's what they were created for. We want to know why we had to be slaves. They went past many people to get to us. Why they come for us? See, everybody know, them the servants of Yahweh. And because they didn't serve him right, he making them serve the nations. So now we done stole us some land over here, and we need somebody to build it up. Let's go get them servants. That's what they were made for. And this is what Yahweh said. Either serve me, or I'm going to make you serve the heathen. But see, Christianity couldn't explain that to us. Christianity can't explain why the black Christians were slaves and the other ones were not. Sunday morning couldn't explain that. But you were created to serve. So you're going to have to make a decision. Either you're going to serve Yahweh or you're going to serve the nations. We've already seen what the nations do. But all it takes is for us to get a little bit of money in that servitude. Because understand, just like we talk about there was levels in dealing with the angels, there's levels in dealing with servitude. And because you had the field niggas, and then you had the house niggas. See, so some of the house niggas didn't want, they didn't want anything in. Look at it, it's nice in this house. I don't know. So the field niggas is saying, look, man, we need to end this slavery. The house niggas is arguing, no, we got it good. So I'd advise you to just try to get light skin or something. I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know. But we inside the house. See if you can get in. I don't know what to tell you. But see, there was levels of servitude. That servitude wasn't the same kind of brutal as the other ones. Well, same thing they do here. They uplift some of us, give some of us some money, some of us a job, and then we get high and mighty against the other servants because we think we're a better servant. I got to hire my office bigger than yours. Yeah. I got people under me. That's right. I got responsibility. Right. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 12. And the angel of Yah appeared unto him, and said unto him, Yah is with you, you mighty man of valor.
All right, the angel of Yahweh. Still, every time we see this, Yahweh is operating through his angel. Do you understand? In the garden, the adversary, the devil, was supposed to do a job. He decided to do otherwise. But it was still an angel who was supposed to be providing a service for Yahweh. But we still think we're going to deal directly with Yahweh. Go ahead.
And Gideon said unto him, O my Adonai, if Yah be with us, why then is all this befallen us? And where be all his miracles which our fathers told us of, saying, Did not Yah bring us up from Egypt? But now Yah has forsaken us and delivered us into the hands of the Midianites. And Yahweh looked upon him and said, Go in this your might, and you shall save Israel from the hand of the Midianites. Have not I sent you? And he said unto him, O my Adonai, wherewith shall I save Israel? Behold, my family is poor in Manasseh, and I am the least in my father's house. And Yahweh said unto him, Surely I will be with you, and you shall smite the Midianites as one man. And he said unto him, If now I have found grace in your sight, then show me a sign that you talketh with me. Depart not hence, I pray you, until I come unto you, and bring forth my present.
Bring forth my present. See, you have to know how to even entreat the angel while the angel is trying to do something for you. Depart not hence, I pray you, until I come unto you, and bring forth my present, and set it before you. Go ahead.
And he said, I'll tarry until you come again.
I'm going to wait here for you. Go ahead.
And Gideon went in, and made ready a kid, and unleavened cakes of an ephah of flour. The flesh he put in a basket, and he put the broth in a pot, and brought it out unto him under the yoke, and presented it.
So he presented something unto the angel. He had to present something unto this angel. And Gideon went in and made ready a kid and unleavened cakes of an ephah of flour. The flesh he put in a basket, and then he put the broth in a pot. Look at what the angel do. Go ahead.
And the angel of Elohim said unto him, Take the flesh and the unleavened cakes, and lay them upon this rock, and pour out the broth. And he did so.
Why did he pour out the broth? It had blood in it. See, the angel not going to deal with unclean things. Set this stuff right there, but that stuff you done cooked in, it's got that broth in it, pour out that abominable broth. You can't offer that. See, Yahweh don't just have to accept something because you brought it. You bring some abominable stuff, you're going to get dealt with. Go ahead.
Just to clarify, that's what we call gravy, that broth. Then the angel of Yahweh put forth the end of the staff that was in his hand, and touched the flesh and the unleavened cakes.
Touched the flesh and the unleavened cakes?
And there rose up fire out of the rock.
Fire out of the rock. This is to symbolize Yahweh. Go ahead.
And consumed the flesh and the unleavened cakes.
Consume the flesh and the unleavened cake. So when somebody tell me they're a vegetarian, I say, you don't understand Yahweh. As far as this priesthood goes. Now, if you don't want to eat flesh, understand the difference. Flesh and cakes. When they say meat, the cakes are meat. Meat just means food. But this flesh, remember he took a kid and cooked that. This was an offering. The fire symbolized Yahweh consuming the offering. See, there's some things that people don't understand here. When it comes down to the creator of all things. This is what this was, and then he wouldn't deal with the part that was unclean. The angel is going to go according to the rules that Yahweh has set out. He's a servant of Yahweh as well. Go ahead.
Then the angel of Yah departed out of his sight. And when Gideon perceived that he was an angel of Yah, Gideon said, Alas, O Adonai Yah, for because I have seen an angel of Yah face to face. And Yahweh said unto him, Peace be upon you, fear not, you shall not die.
Right. So, all up until that time, he didn't truly understand who or what it was that was before him. I'm sure he had some kind of inclination, but he knew for a fact when he put that staff on it and fire came down and consumed it. Wasn't no doubt what he was dealing with then. Now, we know if they'd have had wings, he would have figured that out way before then. Because they want to show us, everybody, all the angels got wings. They flying around like little bird men, like Peter Pan or somebody. He didn't know what it was or what he was dealing with until the fire came down and consumed that offering. Go ahead.
Then Gideon built an altar there unto Yah and called it Yahweh Shalom. Unto this day it is yet an Ophrah of the Abizarites.
Right. So you understand that there was a certain way he had to come at the angel. There was a certain way that he had to entreat the angel in order to get the presence of the angel, to get the protection of the angel, to get all of those things. So just because Yahweh say, hey, I'm going to do all these things for Israel, that don't mean that we can approach unto Yahweh any old kind of way and do whatever it is we want and think that Yahweh is still obligated to protect us. But let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Exodus chapter 33.
Exodus chapter 33 and verse 1. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Depart and go up hence, you and the people which you have brought up out of the land of Egypt, unto the land which I swear unto Abraham, to Esaac, and to Jacob, saying, Unto your seed will I give it. And I'll send an angel before you, and I'll drive out the Canaanite, the Amorite, and the Hittite, and the Perizzite, the Hivite, and the Jebusite.
Right. I'm going to send the angel to do all of these things, but that is still contingent upon you walking in order. The minute you walk out of order and the angel moves, you are then left fighting by yourself. This is why the 33 people died. Once they stole something, the angel of Yahweh had to then back up. There was no more protection. Boom. Before they going in, they slaying these people. Nothing is coming out. They're not losing anybody. Then they go up against Ai, which was a very small place, so small, they said, look, don't even send all the people. Just let a few people go up and smack them around. They went up, and 30-something people got killed. So now they confused. We've been winning everything. Then we go against this little old bitty town, and we got tore up. What was the difference? The angel of Yahweh went with you. You have to make sure that the angel of Yahweh is with you. And you can't walk any old kind of way and have the angel walk with you. Go ahead.
Onto a land flowing with milk and honey. For I will not go up in the midst of you, for you are a stiff-necked people, lest I consume you in the way.
Right. I cannot go up in the midst of you because I'm going to have to kill you. Because y'all going to do something stupid or unclean. Then I'm going to have to kill you. So, in my love for you, I got to create a way that I can still be with you, but not have to discipline you for your ways. Go ahead.
And when the people heard these evil tidings, they mourned, and no man did put on him his ornaments. For Yahweh had said unto Moshe, Say unto the children of Israel, You are a stiff-necked people. I will come up into the midst of you in a moment, and consume you. Therefore now put off your ornaments from you, that I may know what to do unto you. And the children of Israel stripped themselves of their ornaments by the Mount Horeb. And Moshe took the tabernacle and pitched it without the camp.
He took the tabernacle and set it up outside the camp. Go ahead.
A far off from the camp.
A far off from the camp.
And called it the tabernacle of the congregation. And it came to pass that everyone which sought Yahweh went out onto the tabernacle of the congregation, which was without the camp.
Right. So by separating this tabernacle from being in the midst of the children of Israel, because while we out doing our own little thing and the tabernacle is right amongst us, it's causing the angel of Yahweh to execute righteous judgment, because all of that wickedness can't be around him. So to keep him from having to kill us, he said, I'll show you my grace. I'm going to move the tabernacle and put it over here. Okay. When you want to deal with me, get yourself together. Get your mind right. And then come and see about me. That way I ain't got to kill you for the little stuff that you do with me being amongst you all the time. You get all the way to Revelation. Once we get into the setup of righteousness, then the tabernacle gets put back amongst us. We didn't even see that this was grace right here. That he said, I'm going to move this because I love you. I got to move this because otherwise I'm going to have to kill you. Because y'all hadn't learned how to approach unto the angel of Yahweh. And what did he say in the beginning? Do not provoke him. He will not pardon your transgression. My name is in him. He gonna tell you, thus says Yahweh, when he killing you. And that's the angel doing all of that. And he has authority to do so. We have holy days coming up. Act like you're going somewhere. Act like it's an angel with a sword walking around the place. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.